Welcome to another Saturday morning in the smoking room of doom. Fresh out of the shower, sanitized for your perfection. And please keep in mind that, as always, this presentation is put into effect by the wonderful works of a little knowledge consulting, or at least it will be at some point, because that's becoming more and more obvious. That's something that I have to do. So, gonna try something today. And I really kind of want you to bear with me on this, because it's a little on the weird side, but I think the payoff in the long run will be good. So it's going to start out kind of dark, but it's going to get relatively awesome, theoretically. So, I'm also snacking, so don't mind me. These crunchy rice rollers are actually surprisingly tasty. Anyway. So, I've had a lot going on lately. I'm dealing with the potential mortality of a good friend of mine. I had a close family member in the hospital with a bit of a scare that honestly was a bit shaking. Started a new job, which has been really awesome, which is cool. But there's been a lot of reminders about life in general. And there was something I really kind of wanted to pass on. And one of the big goals of my doing this entire podcast sort of thing is to try and kind of help pass on just some of what I've learned through my own poor choices and bad experiences, of which there's been quite a few, but strangely enough, I've still come out on top of all of it, which is super awesome, really. So, I want to talk about death. See, I said it. It's an easy thing. But it seems like such a huge, huge thing. And honestly, I can certainly understand it. I know most of us pretty much go through life pretty darn confused. The best of us, I've found, still, even in their old years, really have no idea how they got where they were. And life itself is full of uncertainty, so tacking on death, well, that's just unpleasant. Nobody wants to think about that. But here's the thing. I actually think about it all the time. I am conscious of my mortality, and I'm conscious of other people's mortality. I'm going to tell you something that you may not want to hear. Everyone you know is going to die. Period. The Surgeon General has found that life has a 100% mortality rate. There are some sideline sections, but those are, well within the realm of statistical probability. But the fact of the matter is, everybody you know is going to die. But this is actually kind of cool because so are you. I'm not eager for it to happen. I'm not wishing for it to happen. I'm not looking forward for it to happen. But I accept the fact that inevitably, you, my friend, will no longer be with us. Wow, you say it like that, it sounds kind of heavy. But the thing is, it really shouldn't. It really shouldn't sound heavy. It really shouldn't come as a shock. Particularly to anyone old enough to actually understand whatever the fuck I'm talking about right now. It should not bother you, because death is as natural as closing a door, or 2 o'clock rolling around and last call, or finishing a chapter in a book, or the end of a movie, or the end of a sequel, or the end of anything. It is an end, which also, of course, means that at some point there was a beginning, at least for you. And up until this point, you've done a hell of a job surviving that. I mean, yeah, you've gone through a lot of shit. I mean, a terrifying lot of shit. I mean, I've gone through a lot of shit, and I probably haven't done half the horrible shit that you've gone through. Miserable, horrible, dreadful things, but you're still here. you haven't hit the end of your story yet. Other people, sadly, have. And that's a sad thing. And when I was younger, I would go to funerals. And I would go to the viewings, and I would see the people that I was no longer going to talk to, or laugh with, or see and be able to smile when I saw them. And I would be really sad. But I really wouldn't be sad for them. I'd be sad for me. I'd be sad that I didn't take advantage of them when they were around. I was sad that I didn't prioritize time with them when they were around. And I felt sad because I was somehow denied these wonderful people. I was somehow denied the potential to enjoy these people more. And it was really hardcore a me thing. And the older I've gotten, the sadly more funerals that I've attended, at this point more funerals than weddings, the more I've shed fewer tears. Most notably, since I joined the Pirates, I've actually started sharing more drinks. In fact, it didn't occur to me when I started this, but I'll share this. Last year, one of the Pirates died. A guy by the name of Jerry Leopold. Nicest guy on earth. Nicest guy you could ever hope to meet. That's him, right there, and that bottle. This bottle, Madeira aged rum, from a small distillery in Soto. At his funeral, me and his pirate brothers made a point to empty every last drop of this, in memory of our guy Jerry, who was without a doubt a great guy. But when I went to his funeral, I didn't weep for Jerry. I was amazed at all the lives that he had touched. I was amazed at how many people he had affected. I was blown away by this wonderful guy that I actually only knew the surface of. And it's pretty crazy. And I'm not in any way going to say that I'm happy that he died, but I am so amazingly happy he lived. And I was able to share a part of that. There's all sorts of stuff about death. Epicurus spoke against being afraid of death. Why should I fear death? If I am, death is not. If death is, I am not. It's not something that stalks you. It's not something that seeks you out. It's not something that chases you down like prey. It is. And it is an inevitable end. The Book of the Samurai basically says meditation on inevitable death should be performed daily. Every day one should think of themselves as dead. Because really, at some point you will be. At some point everyone will be. Because that's the natural progression. We begin, we finish again. And, I mean, even John Donne touched on it. Ask not for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Because when anyone passes, we are all the lesser, but we are all the greater for them having lived. And that's really awesome. I think that's a huge thing. But now that I've started on that, and now that I've got you all depressed and shit, I'd like to talk about something else. This is kind of a little bit of a two-parter, so this one might be a little long. So, it's been a really huge transitional year. Been doing a lot of thinking on stuff. And one of the really big things that has been becoming more and more and more clear is not so much how we choose our destiny or how our choices become our destiny, but the fact that The real thing that we need to do is be looking for that thing that hits our spark of madness. The thing that you genuinely do live for. The thing that helps you live greater, the help that makes you be bigger, the thing that makes all the day's drudgeries worth doing. So I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and they said, well, there's this thing that I really want to do. I really want to learn the piano. And I asked them, well, why haven't you done it? Well, there's just a lot to do for it. It's like, well, yeah, but you don't understand. If it's something that matters to you so much, you'd make the time for it. Well, it's not just the time, it's the money. Well, I've seen you spend X amount of cash on Y other thing. I'm sure if playing the piano is just a question of money, you would easily pass up this other thing to do this thing. Well, yeah, but then I'd have to go get a keyboard or something. And it's like, yeah, like you can't find those on Craigslist? Seriously. And it resonated with me because I've been thinking a lot about the whole voice thing that I talk about doing on a regular basis. If I really wanted to be doing voice work, if I really wanted to be a voice actor, if I really wanted to go to town and become a voice god, fuck me, I could be doing commercials in 3 weeks. I would put everything else away. I would take a risk and jump out on a limb and just pay right out for an inexpensive demo disc and go knocking on every fucking door in town. And let me tell you, I know a lot of doors to knock on. If there's one thing I'm really good at, it is figuring ways to do shit. Because once I get a problem in my head, I turn it over until I have not just one, but 2 or 3 different scenarios, plus a backup plan in case it doesn't pan out. So do you know the reason why I'm not a top-notch voice actor? Because it sounds really cool. It would be really neat. Kind of like learning to play the piano. But honestly, it's not neat enough to strike a chord. You may not have noticed this. I'm kind of a big guy. I would go so far as to say I'm fat. I was looking this morning and, floppy man teats. It's pretty damned unpleasant. But you know what? Clearly, it doesn't bother me. I don't care. I mean, I do have concerns about my weight. I have concerns about heart problems. I have concerns about diabetes. I have concerns about a shortened lifespan. But honestly, I've lived a really amazing life so far. I've done amazing shit with amazing people, and it's awesome. But clearly, I'm okay with my weight, or I would do something about it. And at some point or another, that will happen. It will bother me enough that I do something about it. But until then, I'm not there. But I have been thinking about it. And one thing that strikes that spark of madness for me is other people. I love other people. I love other people's stories. Everything I do is either about hearing stories or being part of them. I enjoy meeting incredible people. And the thing is, not everyone realizes it, but everyone I meet is incredible. 1 second here.